Hello, everybody. How are you doing? It's CJ Miller. I'm in Shreveport, Louisiana, across the Red River for beautiful Bossier City, Louisiana. And this was supposed to be my movie review, my personal rating of another movie. Um, uh, Obsession. I think we were going to go see that movie. But when we got there, the movie time was different than what was listed online. And, so we were just like, we picked another movie. And at random, we picked the movie Leviticus. Now, I knew what the movie was about. And I was with my friend Mike. And he was like, hey, shapeshifters or something. That's what he asked. And somebody told him about, like at the ticket booth. He asked, what was it about? And they said shapeshifters. And so I was like, okay, yeah. So this is a production that's from Australia, and it's making rounds over here, and it's doing well. And you know, this is a movie that there's no subtext to it. Everything that this movie Leviticus, it's right there on the top. There's nothing, it's a very simple movie that deals with what shouldn't be complex issues, and in most places isn't, except in some small, remote areas of the country, and apparently even in Australia, this issue of homosexuality conflicts with religious teachings, and it's all there, and that's the basis of this movie. Now I'm going to give you some spoiler alert for this movie because it's just I don't know. There's no basis of comparison to compare this movie to. So it's a teen boy and his mother, and of course this teen looks like he's about 30 years old, but he moves with his mother. But the movie actually kind of starts with, I'll give you the opening scene of this movie. It's a gym teacher, a female gym teacher, by the way, in the showers of the school or whatever. And then, of course, she's murdered by something, so in a very sapphic way. Very first off, starting out right away with the trope of the female gym teacher having to be lesbian or whatever. But whatever. I don't know. I mean, uh, it's uh, you know, kind of like one of those. It's kind of like yeah, it's a stereotype. Uh, because it's often actualized. But anyway, anyway. So yeah, she like first few minutes of the film, she's like that's the opening. That's the uh, that's that pre-action kill that you get with the movie that kind of gets you, you know, titillated. That's your cover sheet, basically, to let you know, hey, this movie is about people getting killed. So, and then so we flash to the uh, scene with the two guys, and both of them look too old to be in school, but uh, there they are. They're in school, and then but they're not at school. They're running around, with the it opens actually the first scene is like this snake that's swallowing a frog with that huge giant throat that a snake has when it's like swallowing something, and it's like, well, there's a teaser for you. It's a bulging throat, right? But I've got a dirty mind, so I'm sorry, but yeah, that's where my mind went. But anyway, um, yeah, so they run off and they're you know they're as boys do, roughhousing and pushing each other and everything like that, and wrestling around, and then they have a little makeout session, and it freaks them out, and then they kind of start off with a little clandestine little relationship, and then lo and behold, the preacher's son, yeah, and the dude over to his secret boyfriend's house, and the secret boyfriend is like having a kissing session with the local preacher's kid, and uh, in jealousy, uh, you know, kind of does a sneaky thing and tattles. So, and that's kind of where things start off, because the action because it kind of takes a minute to build up to that, but not too long. But yeah, so I'm going to tell you a spoiler alert, because I'm going to tell you the whole damn movie, because there's no way to really rate this movie the way I want to otherwise. And then this is also as a safe movie. I don't think a lot of people are going to run out and see this movie because if it's anything, it's gonna be a sleeper in a wash of summer blockbusters. This is not that big blockbuster movie, but it's kind of a lower budget, but kind of a woke version of a horror movie. But anyway, the community gets the two boys together that had been outed secretly by the friend, and there's a cleanser or whatever that comes in and does kind of like a ritual to kind of purge or do like a little. He's going to try like exorcise the by fire the homosexuality out of these two boys, and apparently it's like there's a little sinister. They're reluctantly participating, but there's a reaction. There's kind of a rather volatile reaction, and then the two boys, the two. They start independently being haunted by this thing that they're seeing, uh, and they say that it looks like the person that they are most attracted to, or something. So, you know, how flattering. And the preacher's son inevitably ends up getting killed. But before that happens, I think, before we get to that part, no. It's the preacher's son gets killed, and that's what sends the one friend, the one that did the tattling. He goes to the police and tries to tell the police, and then, of course, the police end up talking to the boy's mother, and the boy's mother talks to the preacher, and they call in the specialist, and they send him to the ritual, because it's like, she's worried. She's like, it's a very dangerous world, and I can't lose you the same way I lost your father. The father's dead. And so we're going to, this is a mother who's like, she's spiritual and religious, and she thinks she's doing the right thing, and she has this ritual done for her son, not knowing, of course, apparently, at the onset, like he tries to explain what's going on, but yeah, so they do the ritual, forcing the ritual onto him this time. But then, so there's the two guys then, that they're the two original boyfriends, and they are attracted to each other. So this thing that is following them looks like each one of them. The thing that's following looks like the other one. So they never know if they're with their boyfriend or if they're with this creature that looks like them, that's going to kill them, And so the rest of the movie is them just basically running away from this creature that does kill, and the sister of the brother or whatever. It's from there on. There are other things that happen in the movie, but that's the gist of it. Except for at the climax of the movie, and I'll go ahead and finish the story off for you. At the climax of the movie, and listen, this is spoiler. I mean, if you don't want to listen, spoiler, I'll put heavy spoiler alerts in this review. Just basically the whole movie's explained here, so don't listen to it if you don't want to hear. But there's nothing more to it except for the twist is the mother knew the danger, uh, and basically told him, "Hey, I I fear so much for your physical safety, and I'm not always going to be here to guide you. So, yeah, I let them do this and put this reason for fear with you that's going to follow you and chase you all the way through, whatever." So apparently, and then that's when the boy runs off, decides to run off and catch a bus. And I guess the other boyfriend is going to catch the same bus or whatever, and they didn't know it. They would just happen to be running off, and yay, uh, they get to be boyfriends on a bus going out of town, presumably to a big city like Sydney or something like that. I don't know, to go live in a more woke, more accepting environment where they can be them. But this creature that looks like them, to each other, looks like each other. It's still there. It's still present. It's still with them, and it's still going to follow them. That's the reveal. That's the twist of this movie, Leviticus, named after the book in the Bible where it first talks about homosexuality. But it doesn't just talk about homosexuality. I mean, it talks about so much other stuff. It just defines like so many different sins, like getting a tattoo, like this or that, so, and they single out the one or two of the big things that are like the big sins that they focus on whenever they get in there and they start preaching about, oh my God, this is horrible. This is it's like, yes, but also all these other things too. So I don't know, I'm gay. I've made my reconciliation with my spirituality, that I feel that it's not in conflict. I feel that it's not. Also, I was raised as a Christian, and in those terms, there's a new covenant in a Christian tradition, a new covenant in which the old laws do not apply. The new laws, which are basically to love each other as we love God, and to do that is to fulfill the will of God. And it says that several times throughout the New Testament and everything like that. So, it's like, you know, like, hell, you can eat pork if you want to. Yeah, thank God, because I love bacon, so, uh, you know, uh, uh, which is cool. Yeah, I love men too. So yeah, but anyway, but no, that's the movie Leviticus. It's not one that I was going to watch at the movies. I was just maybe gonna catch it. Probably really wasn't. It was gonna be one of those things that I would be like, you know, I don't really, I don't know. I'm not really the kind of movie goer that needs to be. Um, I don't need to have my movies be sycophantic to me. I don't need to have the subject matter placate to me or whatever. I will go to see what I like to go see, but I don't want. I don't want writers and producers and everything to pander to me. I want them to entertain me, uh, and I can't be entertained by being begged to. I don't want a movie to just be everything that I want it to be. I want a movie to, yeah. I am. My attention is grabbed by creativity and artisticness of it and everything like that. So this was just basically a really interesting way to talk about, you know, uh, uh, gay conversion, which is basically what it is. There's it's some sort of ritualistic exorcism thing, but it's not really an exorcism. What they're doing is they're putting uh, you know, they're putting a spirit or a creature on the tail of these boys, on so to speak, on the tail of these. To basically follow them throughout their experiences and everything like that, so that they will be too afraid to be with anyone. It's basically what it is, because if they have this creature that they're attracted to, and that they follow this creature that's going to take the form of whoever they're most attracted to, then basically what's going to happen is they will just become too scared to be involved with anyone, and they will, apparently that's a thing. If they can't, but so I don't know. Yeah, I'm gonna give this one. I'm gonna give this one a capital S. I would pay a standard movie theater to see it, and if you've seen uh, the movies that you want to see, and then there's a movie that you haven't thought of seeing, uh, you know, I think you'll find this movie interesting. This is a movie. It doesn't have to be. You don't have to be like gay or lesbian or bisexual or any of that. You don't have to be. I think anyone can enjoy this movie, even though this is a movie that is, uh, you know, uh, by and large, a movie that's made with the gay uh, audience in mind. It's not. There's no. There's no soft core pornographic scenes to it or anything like that. I mean, I've seen stronger sex scenes between heterosexual people in PG rated movies. There's nothing that should be of extreme offense to anybody. I wouldn't take small kids to see it. Not because of the sexuality. There's not really that much sexuality in it. But because of it is there. There's some parts that are pretty creepy, and there's the gore effects are there when they need to be there, but it's not like a bloodbath. It's not a big, huge, bloody bloodbath. And if you've ever, there is one scene uh, that's going to be a gay bashing scene. I'm giving that trigger warning. If that kind of thing has ever happened to you, and or to anyone that you know, or whatever, and that it may be triggering, you want to be aware of that. Uh, so yeah, um, something like that only happened to me once, and I do not look it. There's no way you really would know it to look at me, but I can hold my own in a street fight. And this literally was, I'll tell you this story. I was coming home. It's back when I used to drink, and I used to drink a lot. And I was coming home, and some roughneck accosted me on the street, and just, yeah. Yeah, we had a fight right there in the middle of the street or anything like that. So, but, and then and then I came home, and the guy I was living with was like, "Oh my God, what happened?" And I'm like, "I'll tell you what happened. I let myself, get caught off guard, but that won't happen again." But like, it was just, uh, but I don't necessarily know that whatever. That's just uh, that's just what happens when you get drunk and you stumble home from the bar at like 3 o'clock in the morning, and through Highland or whatever. There's always some blah blah blah. But that was like 30 years ago. No, it wasn't. It was more like 20 to 23 years ago or something like that. The only person that's really aware of it is a guy that lives in New Orleans now that I lived with. And I was dating at one point, but we had broken up by that time. Uh, and uh, I was still very, very, very crazy. Uh, but I could hide the crazy very well. Anyway, yeah. So if you have anyone that's ever been through any kind of anything like that, and if it was traumatic, if there's any PTSD about that, there may be, you want to, there's a trigger warning about that, because there is that one gay bashing scene. But other than that, this was an interesting movie. The first act of the movie, you get that opening scene that I told you about, where the gym teacher gets killed, and then of course there's a callback to that later. It's there for a reason. It's not just like there. I mean, uh, you know, they go see what's going on. This is kind of a formulary thing. This is a boogeyman kind of thing. I'll tell you what it reminds me of most is there is a movie that you may know of uh, that was from a book of short stories, uh, and or it was a movie about the horror stories that take place in Washington D.C. or something like that. And one of the characters told a story to one of the other characters, and that story within the story became the basis for a movie called The Bye Bye Man. Okay, and so this movie, Leviticus, is very much like The Bye Bye Man. It's very much like a movie called It Follows. Which is a entity that follows and kills, almost like it's sexually transmitted. Uh, you have this thing on you that's just going to get you, this monster, this demon, or something like that, and then you have sex with someone, and it's no longer following you; it's following the person that you've had sex with. Well, this is a little different. This is just a little different because this is uh, the monster or whatever is going to look like the person that you're most attracted to, and it's going to follow you and blah blah blah. So anyway, there you go. It's a good movie, Leviticus. It's it addresses the ridiculousness, but also the actual real dangers of young gay men and women or whatever when they have these uh, same-sex attractions, and the danger is not what happens because of the attraction. The danger is what happens because of the society around them trying to change them, and the danger is the reaction of the society that can't accept that people are just going to have same-sex attraction sometimes. uh, mm, you know uh, and it may not be the majority, but that does not necessarily mean that it's not normal. Think about the town where you live in. You may have a majority, and then you may have uh, some minorities living in your town as well. But those minorities, uh, just because there's fewer of them, that doesn't make them their presence abnormal. Like if you live in a small town that's predominantly white, and then you have a small community of Mexican American or Black American or something like that. That doesn't mean that they're wrong or abnormal in any sort of way. And likewise, doesn't have to be because you have a gay couple living down the block, and there's a lot fewer of them in your neighborhood. That doesn't necessarily mean that because they're the minority uh, in that regard, that they are abnormal in any sort of way. So we need to change the way that we regard uh, population, and a minority population does not automatically translate to abnormality. Uh, in any way, does it really, you know along those lines. But It's like if you have, you know, uh, a Jewish family or a Muslim family or something like that, living the next block over in your neighborhood or whatever. Just because they're different doesn't mean that they're abnormal, you know. And Okay, there you go. I'll get off my soapbox now. But yeah, I think this movie wants to talk about maybe making